My name's Brent Hirsch.
I'm Abby Hirsch, and this is our daughter, Eleanor. And this is a little bit about her story with prayer and everything and support through our church family. So we went in to be induced Friday, the 17th of May. Ellie was born by noon. Super easy labor and delivery. It was a really great experience in Salina. And after about 45 minutes or so, her oxygen levels were not staying up and her CO2 levels in her blood were rising, and they couldn't get her regulated. So they had me holding her, trying to regulate that with some skin-to-skin time. And when it wasn't improving, they took her to the NICU in Salina. In that NICU, they put her on some CPAP things and monitors and a few things, and they thought, you know, maybe she swallowed some fluids, some things would be easy to manage in Salina. And then when they weren't, they started making the decision on what to do next. We were lucky enough to be given a room in the Ronald McDonald House in Wichita. And as soon as we got unpacked, we laid down. About an hour later, the NICU doctor called and said, things are not getting better. We are going to air flight her to Children's Mercy in Kansas City. And when you get here, I'll be prepping for surgery. We're putting in lines to her heart and her lungs and things through her umbilical cord and her belly button, because at this point they had diagnosed her with pulmonary hypertension, so she wasn't getting the oxygen that she needed and circulating things through. They also at that point put her in an induced little coma and muscle blockers, so she wasn't moving. And at this point she had a feeding tube, and so she still hadn't eaten on her own. About 4 a.m. we got on the road and drove to Kansas City, and she got there quickly. She was there in about 2 hours. It took us longer driving from Wichita. When we got there, we walked up to the NICU and they gave us a quick update, and they said, we're going to send you back now. And they took us back to what's called the critical care room. And she had a team of 8 doctors, a surgery team of 3, a one-on-one nursing care, and then like her own respiratory therapists. And at that point, when we walked in, there were 8 antibiotics, 3 pain meds, her induced coma and muscle blockers, and all the lines and monitors to monitor her heart, and they were prepping her for ECMO.
And we got to a point where, we were just dreading going back upstairs. And we finally got up and started heading back up to her room, and that's when texts started to roll in. First from family, from different churches, telling us that they were praying for us. Pastor Gordon and Amy messaged us. They said, the church in Kentucky was praying for us. I had family in South Carolina, Virginia. Abby had family in Ohio. Before we knew it, we had counted over 12, over 15 churches, a number somewhere in that area, 4 or 5 different states. We're all praying for her, all about the same time, about that 11 o'clock to noon time. We go back upstairs, get situated back in her room, and they tell us that the surgery was off the table at that point. They called the surgery team off. She started just making progress out of nowhere. And as the days progressed, she just started making leaps and bounds. They started taking off all the antibiotics, got her off all the pain meds, and it was just kind of one medication at a time they were able to peel off. Before we knew it, they were moving us from the treatment room over to the normal NICU area. At one point they told us that she was the most critical baby in the entire hospital, which of course was terrifying as well. But from there, she just made little bits of progress every day. Finally, when the pain meds started coming off, she started moving, acting real normal, and they were able to take the tubes out and got to hold her finally. Next thing we knew, we were home. We were just lucky to have such a supportive family when it came to taking care of everything, and not just our family, but the church family, really. And that's one of the main reasons we kind of wanted to speak. We wanted to say thank you to everybody that helped us out, from meals to finances to watching the girls to taking care of the house. The saying, it takes a village, definitely rings true for us.